Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. I am Jeff, and if you try, you're gonna lose her. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I love getting to know my husband's students.
Flirty McGee, Lucinda Wall Nicholson.
How many
Lucinda
times has she done this? Oh my god.
Yeah, it feels like this is not the first.
That's messy.
Yeah. Don't shit where you eat. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that would have been shit. I forgot. That would have been "It's not unusual to be loved by anyone." Do 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 do, which is playing over the Vegas montage at the beginning, or when they go to Vegas. Or it could have been "Let's Get It On," which is playing in the strip club.
I finally looked up. I'm going to make this a regular thing, but I finally looked up what the music is supposed to be in the episode because they were playing some weird hip hop during the stripper scene, and I was like, I need to know what it was supposed to be. So Let's Get It On is much better.
It is much better. Yeah. I also, while that was playing and I was watching it, it was on my iPad, but I wasn't looking at it because I was up doing stuff this morning. And I had my AirPods in. And so that's happening. And I'm walking through the bedroom doing a little dancing for Laura. And she's like, what? And she's just looking at me because she's used to this shit.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't turn her on as much as it's supposed to. But I was like, you can't even hear what I'm listening to right now, but this makes perfect sense.
Yes.
But to her, it was just silliness, which, it's fine. I'm with it.
Usually is.
Mm-hmm. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are discussing Season 4, Episode 10, and Did It My Way. Original air date, 11/10/93. This is what passes for sweeps in the year of our Lord, 1993. Everybody, this is some silly bullshit in this episode. Also, in case anyone didn't notice, Leslie got a haircut. Woo! We're celebrating. Yep. It's looking good. Her neck is nice and aired out now. It's breezy.
Out.
Yeah, it's ready for the summer, even though she's wearing a turtleneck to combat the summer. It's weird. It's a whole thing.
Because it's cold. It's cold here. I don't understand. May has been a complete joke.
It's same here. It's been like, I got to 75 yesterday, and like there were people on the beach, like, and I was like, I hope they aren't going in Lake Michigan. That water has got to be like 58 degrees.
It's like, still Titanic level cold.
Yeah, stay away from that shit. It ain't good. Okay. So, did you throw up in your mouth or throw something this episode?
No, this was pure silliness.
It was pretty damn silly.
If anything, I felt the anxiety from Jim and Cindy during that Carson scene. Oh my god. Mm-hmm. I got close to throwing something there because Mr. Carson's a jerk. But oh my god. No, it was more anxiety inducing because I just thought, what is going to happen?
Yeah. All right, so let's see what happens in this episode. I'm trying to think of the things that aren't related to what, like, to the Vegas of it all. So, Laura Kingman is trying to get a hold of Steve. He's not returning her calls. She calls at the keg house, and John answers the phone while they're playing pool, and he's like, "Oh nope, Steve is not here." And then she hunts down Andrea and the Condor's Nest, and Andrea gives the home phone number because Laura is like, I don't know. Laura's pretty cute, with her, like, I still want to call him, even though I'm sure his notes are garbage. Like she seems to be smitten. And so she's reaching out to Steve, trying to get a hold, and she does. But that happens a little bit later. Kelly and David are still at odds with one another over the Mel and Jackie of it all, and Donna is stuck in the middle, which sucks for Donna. And Stuart and Brenda are madly, deeply in love with one another, and there's no convincing anyone, and
Sure
no
they are.
convincing them that it's nonsense. Yeah. Um, and so they're like, we're gonna get married, and Jim and Cindy are having the same conversation they've been having for 3 weeks. How could she accept this wedding ring from him? She's only known him for a month. Everything's, it's a whole fucking thing. And, but they're like, oh, wait, here's our new plan. We're still going to do nothing.
Yep.
And because if you try, you're going to lose her.
That, man, the acting in this, I really liked it. Like, where the rest of the story left me fell flat, I feel. Um, the acting was pretty great because it was all big and silly. Because they knew it was silly, and maybe they also knew that it was kind of falling flat, and they were like, "We gotta amp this up." But yeah, you're gonna lose her. I thought, and Brandon knows it all is back.
Yeah, fuck yeah! Brandon's got to yell at a grown up. Come on, that's what happens around here. You can't yell at Corey Randall because he's almost boffing his wife. So, Brandon also would like to not deal with Deshaun anymore because Deshaun don't give a fuck. Yeah. And Brandon is having a real hard time dealing with it. But Randall is like, you know what'll fix this problem is if we take this problem and this other problem and we put them in my living room.
I cannot wait to see that.
It's going to be fun. So yeah, Deshaun is going to come over to dinner at the Randalls with Lucinda and Professor Randall and Brandon. And that will, of course, fix all of the problems with Lucinda's vagina and with Deshaun's lack of interest in education. Neither one of these people want to listen to Brandon, and I think that's the problem. If Deshaun would just listen to Brandon, he would get his grades up and he would, be eligible to play. And if Lucinda would listen to Brandon, she would just go sleep with her own husband, for God's sake.
Right.
Leave his Schwanstucken alone. So that's happening. And then the Carsons call. And they're like, hey, Jim and Cindy, we're inviting ourselves over for tea. Well, actually, the Carsons don't call. Mr. Carson's secretary calls. It's a weird relationship. And because of that power dynamic, Jim's like, I guess, let me make you a martini at noon. And let's talk about this wedding. And Cindy's like, they're going to agree with me. Like, she has like this weird hope.
Yeah.
And which is dashed against the rocks because Stuart's like, I want to pay for, or not Stuart, but Mr. Stewart, Larry.
Mr. Carson.
Like, yeah, he's like, I want to pay for everything, Jim. You've made a nice little living, but I'm fucking loaded. And
to that I would say, go crazy.
Yeah, knock yourself out, son. And then Mrs. Larry is like, also, we know like 7,000 people that have to be invited to this wedding. FYI, Cindy, how many tables do you want? 3? So Jim and Cindy are feeling railroaded, and Brenda and Stuart are in the room. And when they come in, Jim says, Stuart, what are you doing here? Kind of literally. And then Brenda and Stuart are like, this is a shit show. And they're like, you know what would make this better? If we make a terrible decision and go elope in Las Vegas today. But let's not tell anybody except for Brandon. And then Brandon tells everybody. And then in a series of swipes, everybody gets on the phone and tells everybody else, including my favorite part of that is Dylan and Nat standing by the payphone.
Me too. It was so very funny. It was so Bye Bye Birdie. Do you know that show?
Not in depth. I know it exists.
Well, there's a whole song where they're like, hi Maggie, hi Ursa. It's very cute.
Yeah.
And it's everyone's sharing the hot goss on the phone.
Yep.
Which is, this is how we used to indicate you were talking on the phone, kids. I know you don't know what the fingers are supposed to be, but this is a phone.
Different.
That's the antenna.
Oh, yeah, that's how you get a good signal.
Yeah.
That was really it's kind of hard to do. Wrong finger.
I was going to say.
Poke
Now I'm
yourself in
thinking
the
about
eye.
it. Oh my god.
Yep, poke yourself in the eye that way. Um, and so, yep, swipe, 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 swipe. Everybody gets on an airplane. Steve sits next to Elvis. Uh, Donna plays mediator, and David and Kelly are once again cool. They all land in Vegas and come up with a plan called everybody tell Brenda what a great idea this is, because she's a contrarian, and if you tell her she's doing the right thing, she's gonna not do that. And Dylan, you go tell Carson how much poon he's leaving on the table, and then we're gonna let this just take care of itself. And so they do that. There's a strip club, and then there's a wedding chapel, and Brenda says, "You know what? Never mind. I think on this whole, like, I'm not even sure I love you, actually. You're
Except
all
she
right.
says it later on that she does love him.
I know. She doesn't know what she wants. She's 18. I mean, come on. She's not supposed to know what she wants.
Fair.
And then Jim and Cindy bust in. Whoa! Stop the wedding! But the wedding had already been stopped. And then they all go have cake at like midnight or something at a restaurant. Siegfried and Roy still getting it done. 2 a.m. shows. You know,
These had to be the most boring set pieces for a Vegas set. I was like, this is the most plain Vegas suite, and you all have money now. It's season 4. What are you doing?
Oh, they are not going to Vegas, is what they're doing. They are filming this in on the soundstage.
I know, but all they had to do was go to one of the storage units, grab some more artwork, and just fill the walls.
Yeah, put football sports back up. It's probably still sitting there somewhere.
What also,
about the Godzilla alarm clock? Where's that?
Godzilla
Vegas has
alarm.
lots of those.
I'm sure. I didn't see the need for this scene, but I have a feeling it leads to something else. John Sears decides to go bother Dylan at the Peach Pit.
He really does. Yeah, he does.
He was so bored because I guess every woman on campus was otherwise engaged. Shout out to last week's episode.
Right.
And he was like, you know what? I'm hungry for a fry, a small fry.
By the way, that's one of the things this episode's really about is French fries, because John Sears is eating French fries off of Dylan's plate. Laura is walking up to Andrea going, after that experiment we did in class, I don't think I'd ever eat French fries again. And Andrea's like, oh, I'm gonna still eat some French fries. So yeah, it's weird to have two different scenes about French fries, but and maybe they ate some French fries off of the room service tray. I couldn't really tell.
I didn't see them, but maybe.
Yeah, I feel like they probably did. I feel like that's a good. I bet you room service French fries. Well, they could be terrible. They could be like, all right, I'm gonna lay my own biases on the table here. Big floppy steak fries aren't any good.
No, they're not. Thank you.
Yeah, they're not. So if you are getting big floppy steak fries, that's not what you want from a. But if you're getting like because it's room service, it's going to come in like a little silver goblet, yes. And there'll be like some paper in it that's wrapped like this so that it makes a little cone. So and then there'll be fries in there, and if those fries are like a dark brown and not burnt, but like a darker brown and crispy, and there's visible like sea salt on them, those are going to be fucking awesome. And so I feel like that's the fries they had. I had some pretty good fries. We had
everyone had those fries.
Yeah, eat those fries. We had good fries like 2 nights ago. So yeah, we were shouts to the Warbler on Lincoln in Lincoln Square.
Oh yeah, that looked fun from your photo.
Yeah, those were good fries. So shouts to fries. This episode is like one should eat fries, and I'm okay with that. This episode, for me, it's only about one thing, really. But I want to know what you have for what this episode is really about.
Mine are pretty basic. But I'm going to start with, I think my silliest one is everybody hates Brenda.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
people are, it's a strong word, but I'm going with it. You chop your
Do it.
hair, you start using stronger words.
Right.
Everybody hates Brenda because, you know, everyone but Stuart, uh,
Start.
we get the jump cut from him talking about how beautiful, intelligent, sensitive
Oh.
she is. And then she is the most headstrong. Like, Jim, always ready to talk smack about Brenda.
Uh-huh.
Always ready. Like, oh, bane of his existence. Love his little girl, hate her as a young woman. Yeah, I know,
Mm-hmm.
it's upsetting. Brandon is venting to Steve later about it. Like, she's probably going to get another Paris trip out of this. Ugh.
Oh, I think he was complaining to Dylan about that, wasn't he? But
Oh,
yes,
you're
he
right.
was.
You're right.
But yeah,
But
you're
then
right.
later on, when Brandon calls Steve to tell him, hey, Brenda's going to Vegas to get married, we gotta go. Steve's like, what's up with your sister, man?
Uh-huh.
And of course, they're all talking about how they like have to reverse psychology her. And
Yep.
I'm like, this is maybe not a healthy friendship. Like, if there is, then again, I don't know. Some people like the drama. Some people love having
Mm-hmm.
that one friend in the group who's like, they're going to do some crazy shit and I'm going to enjoy watching. And that
Yeah.
could very well be this group because each of them is going to do something bonkers at some point.
Oh, multiple times.
But
Yeah.
it seems like for now, they really love hating on Brenda.
I wonder, like, how you're supposed to react when one of your friends is just a lunatic. You know,
Okay,
like
here's the
just
thing.
is making like terrible choices.
Like, she's definitely, I do not understand how we're supposed to see her and Stuart as some greater love story than her and Dylan. And like,
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my original thought of like her and Dylan were contentious, but
Mm-hmm.
I could see that they were in love and why they were in love. I
Mm-hmm.
do not see that with her and Stuart. So like, she is making a crazy decision, but they're kind of acting like she always does crazy shit. And maybe I'm just retconning in my brain. And you've said this to me and it's true. Like, I probably have too many eggs in the Brenda basket, but I don't know. I feel for the person who is willing to set boundaries and speak up
Mm-hmm.
when other people aren't. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like people have a problem with her because she is willing to be seen in a less likable light.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I feel like they're all kind of ill-equipped to handle someone doing something so bizarre.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
none of them think this is a good idea. They're all floored by it, and they're all like, "What?"
I mean, they're kids. They're not supposed to know what to do.
Right.
But that is why I wrote down it takes a village to thwart a wedding.
Uh huh. Sometimes. Um, I'll tell you what I think this episode is really about. I think this episode is really about how people react to the feeling of helplessness.
Ooh.
Because you see it, like, they are all helpless to stop this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like we see it when that cut that you talked about with she is headstrong and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah, like Jim and Cindy react to, like, they feel totally helpless with this wedding, and so they yell and scream back and forth at each other in exasperation. They vent their spleens to Brandon. They
Great.
then they make tea. Like, they sit in the kitchen, they stew about things, not Stewart about things, and they just on themselves, and they cannot take a stand in any way that's meaningful or helpful in any
Yeah.
circumstance. And it's not just with Brenda and Stewart, it's also with Larry and Mrs. Larry. Like, Jim can't stand up to this guy. The power dynamic is totally fucked against Jim, and like they're like, maybe they should wait, and Mrs. Larry's like, I think you're right, 4.5 months to plan this wedding is probably perfect. She wanted 7. She wanted
Okay,
June.
6 months. Listen,
No.
I know we both know I know nothing about planning a wedding, but I'm fairly certain that 6 months for the number of people you want to get together is not going to be enough time.
I mean, that's correct. Unless you're willing to spend like 6 to 8 times more than it would cost you if you just waited a year.
Well, and
Like,
clearly they are.
yeah, yeah, but it's ridiculous. It is an incredibly short period of time to do a wedding with, I'm going to say, at minimum 600 attendees.
Yeah.
None of whom, by the way, will be Stuart's friends.
No.
Like, they're going to be Larry and Mrs. Larry's people, but Stuart doesn't know a soul. Which, that happens in we've talked about this. Jackie didn't have any friends either. Like, when she got married, her bridesmaids had to be her daughter's friends because they were the only ones on
That's
the show.
right.
This is what happens. Anytime anyone gets married on a TV show, the person who's not a part of the main cast has no friends of their own. It's weird.
Yeah. It is really weird.
It's not reflective of reality. It's reflective of TV show reality. David and Kelly are both feeling helpless. They cannot impact this situation with their parents and Aaron, so the way they respond to feeling helpless is to fight each other. And that's not super healthy.
No.
Donna is helpless in between them.
Poor Donna.
And she's just like, would you guys fucking knock it off? You're making my life miserable.
Yeah.
The whole gang doesn't know what to do with this Brenda situation. They're all helpless, so they get on a plane to Vegas.
But I do commend them for coming up with some semblance of a plan of like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to play along with this being a good idea and just hope for the best. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
They all stuck with it. No one broke.
Yep.
Like, they really said, all right.
Yeah.
Bet.
You know what this is? This is a Vegas heist movie.
Yes.
Like, it's a, you get the gang together, you pull the team together, you bring them to Vegas, you lay out the plan, and you execute the plan.
Yep.
It's Ocean's 11. Is what it is. But I think it's the old Ocean's 11 with Sinatra, and that's why they called it and did it my way. But it's a heist movie with gags. Like they do the Marx Brothers falling through the door gag, and all the Elvis stuff is just fucking sight gag central.
Yeah.
Like and we didn't mention this up at the top, but Jason Priestley directed this episode, and you can tell. Like, it's got the silliness.
Let me know right away. I had nothing to worry about. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep, you're in good hands, and there's going to be some silliness. There's going to be some flourishes. There's going to be some swipes. There's going to be, we're going to start this scene by tracing all of their clothes across the ground up into the bed so you can see, like, those are all directorial choices, and they seem to be very much, this era Jason's directorial choices. And I'm here for all of it. I enjoy them.
How many will he direct in this show?
I mean, I would say probably I'd have to look, but I'm guessing around a dozen. I mean,
okay.
He does a couple a year, every year, I think, or at least one. So yeah, he does a good handful. Everybody kind of gets to take the wheel at some point.
Nice.
He was just the one who got to do it first.
Okay.
So, like, I know, like, I feel like season 9 or 10, Tori gets one, Jenny gets one.
Cool.
I think we've already seen Jim get one.
I can't remember, but yes.
Yeah, I feel like James Eckhouse had one already. So yeah, they all get to try their hand, which is nice. I'm a big fan of the farm system. You give everybody a chance and help them stretch.
Yeah.
Laura feels helpless with the Steve situation. She can't get a hold of him. They had an evening where whatever happened, and she very much wants to connect with him some more, and can't make it happen. So, like, she's industrious. She's like, let me talk to Andrea. She went to everybody here knows everybody who went to West Bev, so I know her. I'm gonna talk to her.
Yeah.
So she has a plan.
So when I first watched this, I thought she's pregnant.
Hmm.
Late, at least. Um, and then when I was rewatching it this morning and realized what hell is coming next, I went, oh no. Is she regretting this? Like, is she looking back on it and going, wait, I actually didn't want this? Or like, I expressed, like, I'm worried that that maybe something happened that maybe the evening did not go as we think it did, as Steve thinks it did. And so she's trying to contact him to like talk to him about it before going to authorities or a counselor. I don't know. I'm nervous. Not for Steve. I could give two shits what happens to Steve. I'm nervous for her.
Okay.
You're so good at the stone face. So good.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
Don't make me sing.
Don't make me sing. I mentioned it already, but Jim, when Larry wants to pay for the wedding, is totally helpless. Doesn't know how to react. Just sits on the couch and Cindy, when Mrs. Larry takes over the guest list, Stuart and Brenda, when their parents try to take over the wedding, like they're helpless, and so they're like Vegas baby.
Oh my god!
Like the whole episode is people having no idea how to fix the situation they're in, and trying a bunch of shit. And the only one who figures it out, and thank God because he's directing the episode, at least he knows what's going on, is Brandon's blue shirt. He has a whole plan, and he gets everybody on board, and even Dylan is like, all right, I'll go hit Stuart with the no more poon offensive and let him know that this is what's going on.
No more poon.
It is. And that's one of the other things that this episode is about, is the people who feel helpless becoming problem solvers.
But not in a great way, because I don't really feel like, I mean, Brandon never feels helpless to me. You know, he is a go-getter. You throw anything his way, he's going to immediately find a solution. And I get it. Sometimes anxiety does that too. You're like, I'm just going to go with the first thing.
Yeah. But I mean, Brandon is helpless in this episode. He's helpless with the Deshaun stuff. He's helpless with the Lucinda stuff. Like he's in this spot he can't get out of. He's going to have dinner with these fools.
That's really why he runs away to Vegas to stop Brenda, because he's like, I can't deal with this shit at home. I'm going to go deal with someone else's drama.
And not for nothing, but that may happen again, and it may happen in relatively short order.
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to solve the rape crisis.
Oh,
what?
Yeah. Brandon can fix just about anything, you guys. I think we've seen that happen. I mean, he somehow has not managed to kill Jim's career. Like, this is, you know what? This is the only Jim business relationship that has not been ruined by Brandon, which is pretty impressive.
Was ruined. It could be ruined by Brenda.
You know what? It could be ruined by Brandon's plan to get the wedding called off. Like, maybe, boy, I don't know. Jim's about to lose
Mrs. Carson is going to love him because she's going to be delusioned into thinking that she can still plan this wedding, that they still want to get married, which I'm thinking no, but I'm like, wait, so they're still going to be dating?
Yeah, hard to say. It's left. I mean, he dips her, like that's the end of the story.
Very sad dip.
Yeah. But Donna like becomes a problem solver. You know, she gets David and Kelly in the same row of the airplane, sits in between them. I love weddings. Gives them the hug. Gets fixed. Brandon obviously comes up with the double reverse fake out plan in Vegas. And then Dylan, problem solver with Stuart with the no poon offensive. And all those folks work, you know. And Jim and Cindy try to problem solve by like barging into the wedding after it's already over. So, you know, bang up job once again, parenting Jim.
Yeah.
Fucking nailing it. Just kicking it out.
I really thought when Dylan goes, I'll handle Stuart.
Right. Yeah. They're not going to check. No one's even going to check whether I have a gun or whether we're underage in the casino. Doesn't matter.
No
one's
it's 93, check. Baby.
That's right.
Nothing bad has happened.
No, that's true.
In airports.
Or Vegas. Yeah, Tupac's still alive. No problems.
Wait. Oh, he is in 93? Mm-hmm. I forgot. See?
Yep.
When you're a child. Although they totally covered that on Fresh Off the Boat. And honestly, that's a reason to get back into the show for you, because they cover Tupac's death and then they cover Biggie's death. And obviously it's not funny, but the way they handle it on the show is with an air of humor. Again, because the kid is a huge rap fan.
Nice.
And like he and his buddies try to solve the murder of Tupac.
Oh, good. Well, I hope somebody does one day.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Solve that murder, guys. Edict.
But so my last thing that I thought this episode was about, I initially wrote down marriage is a gamble. And I want to add to that but like Brenda and Stuart, when they're canoodling after we've seen the, you know, the sexy array of clothing on the floor, they're talking to each other like people on The Bachelor and Bachelorette talk to each other. Promise me you'll never hurt me and that nothing will ever get in the way. Promise me you'll always love me. You'll always tell me you love me, that nothing bad is going to happen. And I'm just like, that's not how the Force works.
No.
But
no, I hated the dialogue in that scene. I really did.
I mean, it is totally reflective of, I don't want to say young people, but I'm going to say young people, naive people in love. It's totally reflective of that. If even though Brenda has been in love before, even though I would assume Stuart has been in love before, with drug dealing, which did I call that or what?
You nailed that one. Yep. Giving you a high five.
Thank you. And I'm not even going to say more than that because it was lame. It was such a lame stand of like, well, where everyone gets their drugs. There's one spot in Beverly Hills where people get their drugs.
Eve's Apple.
Okay. Anyway, but ultimately what I've come to realize from this episode is that life is a gamble. It's not just love. It's, you know, it's your friendships. It is... I had examples in my head and then I lost them. I mean, Brandon going to Vegas is a gamble because he has a gambling problem.
He does.
You know, all of these friends going to support / also stop their friend is a huge gamble.
Yeah.
Brendan Stewart, obviously, getting married is a huge gamble. Steve and Cindy, parenting is a gamble.
Yeah.
Like, everything in life is a gamble, and it's not as fun and glitzy as Vegas, ? I'm not a big fan of Vegas.
Yeah, I like Vegas, but I'm good. I don't need to go back tomorrow or anything.
Right.
We need to give credit where it's due. In this episode, they remember the past. Like, they remember that Brenda got a trip to Paris. They remember that she moved in with Dylan, and this is not the same thing at all. They were just playing house. They remember that Brandon has a gambling problem. They remember that they remember Cardio Funk.
Yes, Mr.
And they remembered Monsieur Rick. They did not bring up Jim doing karaoke, which happened during Cardio Funk, which is sad. I would have liked more of that. But they remembered things in this episode that happened before. And that was very exciting. But there was one other auditory callback that I'm not sure you caught, because I didn't catch it the first time. I only caught it the second time when I was watching it with my AirPods in. When Brenda stopped the wedding, there was sound in the background, and it was the same car horn sound that from Meeting Mr. Pony before the little bell dingles. That like go back and listen to it, see if it's there in the mix that you got. But that car horn sound is there, and it's exactly the same one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it in her head?
Maybe. I mean, maybe that was, look, if you don't go through with this, Mr. Pony's going to get shot.
Oh my God.
No, it'd be rough.
What an odd thing to put in. It would have made more sense to me if they had like the bells of the wedding chapel and like
ding ding. Yeah. And she
like it
loses
does
her
me
mind.
every time. Less and less so, but it's nonetheless jarring.
I know. Me mentioning it, I feel like has maybe triggered some bad thoughts for you, and I feel sad.
It's okay. Not any worse than the usual ones.
That's true. They're just different, Mr. Pony related ones. And we talked about this already, but Stuart has no friends of his own.
No friends. Even money couldn't buy him friends. He's kind of like Harry Osborn that way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's I don't know. Peter would be his friend.
Yeah, until he's like, I'm gonna kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Spider-Man's out there causing trouble.
He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's not causing trouble.
He's solving problems. I know.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. He's not helpless. Speaking of Spider-Man and having one outfit to wear while you solve all your crimes, there is this episode is really about how much you can do in one outfit.
Oh,
because
okay.
Up until they show up at Brenda's suite to stop the wedding, Brandon, Dylan, Donna, David, Kelly, Andrea, and Steve do not change clothes. They're all in the same, like, Brandon's wearing that blue checkered shirt the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
David is wearing like that lighter blue baggy plaid kind of deal. Donna is wearing that red form-fitting pullover.
Yes.
Andrea has on the same, like, I don't remember if it's a vest, but I think it's sleeveless.
It's just a sleeveless top. Like, you could call it a tank.
But it's the same. She's wearing it in the Condor's Nest. She's wearing it on the airplane. Like, everybody keeps their clothes on. They don't change. No costume changes. Brenda does. Brenda changes costumes.
But that's a good storytelling, because it's kind of annoying how, I mean, in an older show, like a period drama, of course they would be changing multiple times a day. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. But in modern times, like it makes sense. Oh, this is all started in one day. Now, Brenda, I don't know why she's in silk pajamas in the middle of the day, but go her.
I mean, so if we want to give the show a lot of credit, and maybe Jason, all of the people who don't change clothes are a constant. All right, but Brenda is changing clothes left and right because she is up and down. She's all over the place with what's going on. She doesn't show it in her actions, but she's showing it in her wardrobe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's happening. And then they all change because now it's time to execute the plan. And then they go. Also, not for nothing, Steve is super focused on Elvis in this episode. I mean,
hyper focused.
Not only does he have my buddy E here, which I think that makes me laugh because it's so cheesy. Like, it's just like that is something they worked out on the day. Steve's like, let's do this. But then Steve tries to order a peanut butter and nanner sandwich. And then he makes another Elvis reference when they're overlooking the casino floor, and then decide to go to Stuart's favorite strip club where they don't serve booze. Look, not for nothing, but I think the rule is no booze equals full nudity.
I mean, potato.
Is that what you call it? Um, I mean, okay.
That's what I'm calling it.
All right. I've heard taco. But anyway.
One or the other.
But yeah, no, I think that's my understanding of the rule is that if you're in a place that serves alcohol, it's topless only. I'm serious. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is true, but this is my understanding of the truth. That if you want a place that is full nude, bottomless, they don't serve alcohol.
Okay.
So if this place is a non-alcohol place, then this is Beavers and Muff left and right.
Beavers and Muff.
Right. So that's what Stuart's into. Also, Stuart doesn't need alcohol because he got that booger sugar. I mean, that dude is dealing. He knows where it's at. He had a T-shirt on with a giant 4 on it at a rave at one point in his life. I'm almost certain of it.
Oh my God. I forgot about that guy.
How can you forget about the Euphoria dealer?
Because Emily drugged me and I've blacked out.
Oh man. Don't go away mad. Just go away.
My favorite part is just Jason in the background being like...
Yeah. Yep. Between Jim and Cindy?
No. Between Dylan and Brenda. Like, I don't know if we should leave Brandon here. I'm worried about him. And he's just...
Oh. Well, he does that between Jim and Cindy when they're standing by the sink lamenting. And he's in the background. And then he's like, enters.
Brandon is such a creep.
I know. But here's what I liked about, like, I just kept seeing it from the perspective of Jason is also directing this episode. So I was real aware of what he was doing in scenes. And a lot of the time what he was doing, unless it was like a one shot of him, he was just being there.
Okay. This is why it's fun to watch people in the background.
Yeah.
I was ranting recently to Walter about, like, I had a director once give me a note about, like, I was stealing focus from my scene partner. And I'm like, we're in a scene together. Just because I'm not talking doesn't mean people aren't going to be looking like, I don't know what you want me to do. And audience, Cheesemeisters, I know you're on my side. I wasn't stealing focus.
No.
But
I was. Oh.
But it's just one of those things, like, you've got to be doing stuff in the background or it doesn't look real. Yeah. So, and then you get told things like, don't steal focus. What do you want me to do? Just stand here?
Yeah.
And look weird?
Well, and like, speaking of our favorite swipe moment with Dylan and Nat, I watched Nat the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to watch Nat react to Dylan telling him this information because I don't know why Nat's there.
Well, exactly. And also, we are seeing less of Nat. So who are we going to want to look at? Nat. And also, he is the more, I would think, more experienced actor. So yeah, he's going to be more fascinating to watch. Yeah.
And it just, like, I'm also, like, it's like Laura shows up in this episode and they're like, let's get our money's worth, put her in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
John shows up in this episode. Let's get our money's worth. Let's put him in 2 scenes. Let's give him the pool table scene. Let's give him the French fry scene. Nat is in this episode. We're already paying him. Let's use him twice. Like, we've got the scene earlier where he's like, I don't like that John Sears guy. He's always been a troublemaker. And then you get put him there. I just feel like that they were trying to get their money's worth. And Elvis, he's in like 3 different shots because we're getting our money's worth. We paid for an Elvis impersonator. We're going to give him shit to do.
And you know what? I appreciate that.
I do too.
As an actor, I appreciate that a lot. It's like, you've already got me here. You might as well use me.
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of there's a story that Will Arnett has told numerous times on Smartless where, like, when he was on, like, early on in the run of Arrested Development, he was like, can we get this whatever. And Bateman is like, we got you for the whole day, right? Like, we booked you for the day? Is that what we did? I just wanted to make sure. And he's like, fuck, you're right. My bad. Like, it's good to keep in mind. You're right.
No, it totally is. But also, I'm just going to say it. You waste a lot of people's time by just making them sit all day. And look, I can only speak from my low tier of acting. Like, I worked background recently. I had to be somewhere for like, I think it was 6 to 8 hours. And I got paid, yeah, I'll say it. I got paid $250, which is generous for background. But all the same, I was like, just fucking use me. Like,
right.
I at least brought a book. You bring things to do, but it is really annoying. And people totally have a right to be annoyed at, like, I could be getting other stuff done, but I am getting money. It's a mind fuck because you want to be grateful, but you also want to be used.
Sure. I mean, I felt that way when I did temp work, where it was my job to answer phones. And I'm like, I bring a book, but I'm bored. But I'm also like getting paid to be here.
Now, at least when you're temping, you have access to a computer, so you can be like looking for other jobs or writing. Not to say that you feel motivated but
like most of my shit was like pre-internet almost, or like nascent internet, where like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna like I can go look at eBay, I guess. Like there were only like 8 websites.
Fair.
And none of them were any good.
I could have brought my laptop, but one, you never know where you're going to be set up.
Right.
Or if there's going to be internet. I mean, I probably would have had more creature comforts sitting in my car than where I was.
Probably true. Yeah. Then yep, I get it.
Showbiz.
Fancy Flash. Anything else this episode might really have been about?
No, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yep. To break this wedding up. Okay, what did this make you nostalgic for?
I've been to Vegas a couple times, but nothing beats the first time when I was a kid and my parents thought Vegas can be fun for kids, right? And it was. But of course, there was this one time in particular, and this was my most embarrassing story to tell as a child, or that mom and dad would tell about me. And we had just had breakfast at the McDonald's in the hotel, and Mom and Ashley had already gone back up to the room. And so Dad was hanging out while I finished my hotcakes. Shout outs to McDonald's hotcakes. The best. And we're heading back up, and he's like, oh, here, like we're passing the slots. And he goes, hey, just wait here a minute. I just want to go play a thing real quick. And I'm like, okay. I think I was 12 at this point, Yeah. So I just stood off to the side because you're not allowed in there, obviously. Yep. And I'm just hanging out, waiting for him to finish playing. No big deal. And all of a sudden, a security guard comes over to me and says, you lost, little girl?
Nice.
And I mean, I was about to be like, no, my dad's just over there. And my dad runs over and is like, hey, everything okay? And like, I was so embarrassed because as a 12-year-old, you're like, I'm 12. I'm fine. Right. I can stand somewhere and be okay. And like, I've always looked younger. Like, so I probably thought too, like, what does he think? I'm 8? Right. I don't know. But yeah, it was quite amusing to family for a while, and it was embarrassing to me for the longest time. But yeah, I can laugh at it now because that man's just doing his job. And like, shout outs to my dad for clearly constantly checking. And like, I don't think he could not have been like half a room away from me. Like he could see me. Yeah. He just ran.
That's good.
Don't take my child.
Right. Because like when Marge got addicted to gambling, she would not have noticed. Marge was a slot jockey, you guys.
Oh no.
It's one of my favorite episodes. You should like take some time to watch Springfield with a $, or How I
Oh,
Learned to Love Legalized Gambling.
okay.
So you get that title right is a Doctor Strangelove reference.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's that. It's an awesome episode. Mr. Burns opens a casino and Marge becomes a gambling addict.
Love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Love Homer, there's gambling.
Um, one of the things that reminded me of was the Vegas being for family thing, is because I've heard Tori talk about this on their podcast. Her dad used to love to take them to Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they would stay at Circus Circus. And that's why Donna is like, Circus Circus is the best. Like, and she was like, oh yeah, Vegas is totally for kids because this is how I fucking grew up. Like, the stuff Donna says about Las Vegas is the stuff that Tori lived about Las Vegas.
I mean, listen, thankfully there was a lazy river in that hotel. Like I think we had fun. You know, could we have done more? Yes, but Vegas is also really expensive, and like, I mean, you know, we walked around, we got to explore all the hotels. We had enough fun. We also did other stuff on that trip, like go to Grand Canyon in San Diego. So like,
Right.
You know, obviously I don't know. Tori would have been there with, you know, TV exec money at the time to do anything and everything that is offered to kids at the time. We were, you know, middle class Midwesterners. So
they were penthousing it for sure. So she did tell. Oh, go ahead.
No, on that same trip, it was really funny. So our flight was super delayed, so we didn't get into Vegas until I think 2 a.m. And you know, they'd obviously already given up our room, and they were like, "Well, here, we can put you up in a suite for tonight while we wait for another room to be available." And so we got to stay in this big ass suite.
Oh, that's cool.
And I went, damn, we have to sleep. We don't get to like hang out and try out so many chairs, so many tables and chairs. Oh my God.
Was there a tiger in your room at any point?
Thankfully, no. But like Ashley and I got to be like a whole like house away from mom and dad. It was great.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. My quickest, funniest Vegas story is one time when I was there with my brother for and IU played like shit. I think we lost both the games that we played there. It was awful. It was just depressing. But we're in a cab on the way back from where the games were, which were like way off the strip, back to where we were staying. And we were talking about where to go eat, like what to get for dinner. Mm-hmm. And Michael was like, I don't know, maybe Asian. You feeling like Asian? I was like, maybe. And the cab driver goes, you want a whorehouse? I know a whorehouse.
Oh! Wow.
Yeah, I was like, no. we were talking about dinner, but thank you for your offer of help.
Right? Like, love the enthusiasm. Yeah. But no, we're hungry for something more substantial.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I get it why you went there, but I don't know if you are aware of how this works in Vegas. The cab drivers are incentivized by the establishments to get you there.
Oh, that makes sense, but I did not know that.
Yeah, like there was I can't remember what place we were going to or which trip. Whether it was a strip club or whether it was just like a bar or something, but our cab driver was like, I got coupons for like free bottle service at wherever this place is. Would you like one? And I'm like, yeah, give it to us. So yeah, like they get stuff to deliver you to all of these places because there's a million places that you can spend a shit ton of money in Vegas, and that's one of the ways that they advertise. You know.
So what you're saying is, I should go to Vegas, but spend more of my time in the cabs so that they'll take me to the places with deals.
There you go. Yeah. You know. Yeah. We're gonna be up 5 honey by midnight. Vegas, baby.
You need a tow? I can get you a tow.
There you go. I know a guy. Okay. Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
It's the Carsons. Like Mr. and Mrs. Carson suck.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Carson especially, but both of them were being so they were steamrolling the Walshes. They
Mm-hmm.
were being so condescending, like, you've made this nice little practice for yourself. Fuck
Uh-huh.
off, sir. Do you have
Yeah.
any idea how many people would kill to have what the Walshes have?
I know.
Like, yeah, I didn't like it. It was, rich people being obnoxious. So
It
yeah, they
was.
suck. They
They do.
suck.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Carsons. Um, I don't know. Everyone is kind of equally whatever in this episode. You know?
I'll
Like,
throw one more at you.
yeah, bring me.
Uh, David for immediately slapping with words the flight attendant for just existing, being like, "It's a late pass. I've already had this conversation." Like, fuck, and she's just standing there, like, okay.
I know. Yeah, she handled that like a champ. Yeah, those are two good worst peoples. Like I don't really think she's the worst person, but like Brenda's up to some bullshit here. Come on, Brenda. Like,
It's again, it's kind of it really feels out of nowhere this sudden need to be in love, to have security in the form of a partner who you only just met. And I'm sorry, honey, but like there's you don't know what's going to happen in life. Like you can make all the commitments, something could still go wrong, something could
yeah,
still change. Like all you can do is enjoy what you have right now and of course still make that commitment and hope for the best.
yeah. You know, I decided who my worst person of the episode is. The State of Nevada Gaming Commission
Okay.
for not letting Andrea keep her winnings.
Oh, fair.
Let her keep that $500. You're fine, Vegas. You got enough
Yeah.
money. This is Andrea. She can't even afford to live in district.
Right.
So
Her
give
her
her.
grandmother needs health care.
That's right. I mean, look, they gave her a printer, but that printer, she's going to need toner. I bet they're not giving her free toner all year. It's California University, not Harvard.
Right.
I assume Harvard gives people free toner. I don't know. I don't know
They
how. Yeah,
probably did, but they may not be able to afford it now.
that's true. Shouts to Harvard, by the way. Um,
Right? Keep
uh,
fighting.
that's right. Um, okay, so I think we did it.
We did it.
All right. So join us here on Friday, Cheesemeisters, when we go to Vegas. Before it was Vegas, we are going to watch a movie about the founding of Las Vegas, about the way it came to be. We're gonna. It's our second Warren Beatty. Um,
Yeah.
hopefully, fewer cum waterfalls in this episode, but we'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah. We're going to watch Bugsy, which is my memory of it is that it's kind of long. But
Oh boy.
I think it's like 230, 240. It's a little
Oh,
long.
okay.
It's not like Centennial or something, which is a TV
I mean,
miniseries that I think was
it
20 hours
looks
long.
it looks good. It looks interesting.
Yeah, I've seen it once. I saw it a long time ago. So I probably saw it when it came out. I don't know if I saw it in the theaters. It may have been a rental kind of deal. But yeah, we're gonna watch Bugsy, so that should be fun. And then prepare yourself, Cheesemeisters. Prepare yourself, Leslie, because next week we are gonna watch season 4, episode 11, Take Back the Night. And look, if you tune in to this show every week to see if Leslie threw up in her mouth or threw something, then man, get a bucket of popcorn, you guys, because I feel like Leslie's gonna lose her shit next week about 7 different ways. So
I'm I'm gonna have to make sure I'm in a space where I can be loud because yeah, I'm gonna go off. Like I already know, I'm gonna go off.
you're gonna go off while you're watching it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to take breaks.
You might just remind yourself 2 things. A, this is fiction, and B,
is it?
no, and B, it happened a long time ago. So,
which I'm gonna argue that shit's coming back around.
I don't think that shit ever left, but
well, and that's the thing. But it's funny because people think that. Yeah, I'm going to say this right now. People think that because we had a Me Too movement, we solved rape. We didn't.
No, it's not. And you know why? Because David Silver didn't rap about it. That's why.
You know what? Okay, I'll concede that.
Yet, maybe he does. Maybe he rapes about consent later. I'm not gonna.
Rapes about consent.
Raps about consent.
Wow, what a slip.
Yeah, I guess. Look, I don't know what David's up to these days. He's probably rapping and raping about consent. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So anyway, Cheesemeisters, next week's going to be one. Just prepare yourselves. It's going to be one. But until then.
Bye.
Bye.